Yes, we are bitching.
Hey, good Thursday evening to all of you. My God, we've already got people commenting in here, and we're just starting the damn show. People are fired up and ready to go. They're pissed off about the 2-6 Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, fancy that. Anyway, you have just tuned into the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida, and we've got a lot to cover tonight, obviously. And welcome to Chris and Freak, and Melvin has just jumped on. So welcome aboard, guys, and I anticipate we'll have a few more of our trusted regulars coming up as well. We'll look back on
what are the folks at home drinking this evening.
Well, I'm just about to get to that. We'll run back the Eagles game a little bit, and of course talk about the trades this week, the bye week, the move that many thought was going to happen but didn't, and all those other wonderful things. Gentlemen, what are we drinking tonight? And I'll start with Mr. Ryan Scarpino.
I got a variety of contraptions are here. I don't even know whatever. Diesel fuel.
Diesel fuel. Love it. Love it. Melvin has jumped in with the Basil Hayden, a fine selection.
Ryan's drinking the moonshine again.
Ian, what do you got going there tonight?
I have both beer and a rum and apple cider mix because I need plenty of alcohol to get
cider.
Captain and plenty of cider left from the Halloween festivities.
Yes.
Very warm that up. That is actually good shit.
It is.
Yeah, like hot apple cider with Captain Morgan is some good shit.
I know.
Ben, what do you got going tonight?
I'm drinking the Don Julio 70 again and this Rock Hop IPA by 10 Barrel.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, good shit.
I am just about to finish off my redemption, and
that's about how much I have left of it too.
Yeah,
I don't really sense much redemption in this in the topics we're going to discuss tonight.
No, I think
I'm just putting that out there.
No filter tonight. No filter, and
that's what Ryan was saying. He's saying he's already drunk, and it's always the most fun when Ryan's already drunk.
Yeah, Freak's going with a little Voodoo Ranger.
I do like really the Voodoo Ranger. That's
really nice selection.
That's a good one.
And let's see, we got Joe. Welcome, Joe. His typical Thursday night Coca-Cola, and he also mentions that Captain and cider is low key amazing.
Yeah, dude. When it's warm. When that's
all
hot,
right,
it's cold outside. That is a nice drink.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into this. Ian, I'm starting with you. There are 9 games left in the Pittsburgh Steelers 20.
Oh, come on. You're not really going to do this.
Football schedule. What is one thing that would please you to see over these last 9 weeks?
Gosh, more than one touchdown per game.
Very good.
That's a pretty low bar.
Yeah.
We have a pretty low damn bar right now, the way we're playing. Like
the bar couldn't be lower.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Ben, what is one thing you want to see that would be pleasantly surprising for you over the last 9 games?
I would be very, very surprised if Matt Canada got his ass fired, but he should be fired.
Well, we will dive into that for sure tonight. And Ryan Scarpino, something positive to look forward to over these last 9 weeks, something that you would love to see.
I you know what? I'm tired.
Sonogram?
Oh, well, on that note, congratulations, by the way, to Mr. Scarpino.
Ultrasound.
And his
ultrasound.
Lovely ultrasound. That's right. Scarp's
studying earthquakes. What are you doing? No.
So we'll be doing auditions for his fill-in at some point.
No, I'll be here.
He'll be chasing the little one around the house.
Yeah, he won't be getting any
play
sleep.
like a champion. Come on.
That's right. Hey, that's right. If Ian can sit there with 12 kids
Ian's
on
got
his
like
lap.
10 kids, and he takes 1 week off when he has a birth. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, Your wife's a fucking champ.
Yes,
Jeez.
she is.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. But yeah, congrats, Scarps, and we hope she's feeling well, and hope you're feeling well. And,
Thank you. We're
all that
good. Everything's
stuff.
good.
But,
The baby's due in late April.
late April. Wow.
It's rock
Right
and
around
roll.
draft time. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Right around draft time.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
is it-
Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's a top 10 selection.
You got that right.
All right. One thing I want to see over these last 9 weeks is I want to see Kenny Pickett improve because, in my opinion, he has been the same / regressed.
How the fuck did the Houston Texans just do that?
I
Hey,
take
Chris
it they're
Moore's a
beating the
former
Eagles.
Raven. He knows what's up.
That was embarrassing.
Well, let me start out with something that is a bit controversial and in some eyes stupid, but I'm going to go there anyway. If the Pittsburgh Steelers finish, let's say they're in a position where they're maybe in the top 3 or 4 of the draft, would it surprise any of you if they looked at a quarterback if Pickett stays the same the rest of this year?
Can I answer this quick first?
Yeah.
I don't think that the Steelers should rule out any position in this upcoming draft. Any position. And even if they do, they shouldn't talk about it. Because let's just say hypothetically they do have a top 3 pick. And someone wants to move up to take a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If you say we're not looking at quarterbacks, we're looking to trade this pick, you lose leverage.
Absolutely.
So you do not rule out any position. You scout all the positions, regardless, including quarterback. And, you let the chips fall where they may. Now, would I take another quarterback? No, I wouldn't. I think they have worse problems than quarterback right now.
Fair enough. Yeah. Ian, what do you think? Would it surprise you? Would you look for it if Pickett just doesn't show any improvement the rest of the way?
I was shocked when Arizona did it, taking quarterbacks in the first round in back-to-back years.
There is
but
precedent.
It obviously paid off for them because Josh Rosen has done nothing in his NFL career with any team he's played for.
Yep.
And, I mean, Kyler Murray, he's had flashes of greatness and flashes of terribleness.
Yeah.
But he's certainly better than what Josh Rosen was, and certainly gives them much more of a chance to win than Josh Rosen did. So, I mean, yeah, if you have the top 3 pick in this draft, you don't rule anything out. I agree with Ben.
Yeah. Scarps, where do you fall on it?
Well, Steelers Freak pointed out that I got a big forehead. He called me a 5 head. It's a 9 head. Get it right, Steelers Freak.
What are we talking irons in my golf bag here?
10 head. Yeah, I got a big forehead. Accept it.
Not quite a Peyton Manning, but
Right.
I wouldn't roll out. I'll say this: I wouldn't roll out any position, but I do not want Bryce Young. He does not impress. You know what I mean? Or even CJ Stroud. And that's not a knock on those guys. I mean, it is, but it's more about I wouldn't roll out any position, but I don't think those guys are better than Kenny Pickett. Right now, at least, but we'll see.
Well,
and here's the other thing I'll say too: that young quarterbacks that come into the league, and I said this past year on the podcast, when we were going through the draft, that I'm a firm believer that situation matters more than talent for a quarterback, right? Rookie year, Mac Jones had a better year than Trevor Lawrence did. While Trevor Lawrence is infinitely more talented than Mac Jones, but Mac Jones went to a situation where he had a good defense, a good offensive line, and a good running game. Now, this year, those scripts are flipped a little bit, but the Jaguars also invested a bit in their line, in their coaching, and they got Travis Etienne back, who's made a big difference in their running game.
Huge.
So, if you go and draft a quarterback in the first round next year, he's going to come into the same damn terrible situation that Kenny Pickett's in with a terrible offensive line. Questionable coaching and a non-existent running game. So
well, now come on. Let's hope that at least by the end of the year, Matt Canada gets fired. Come on.
Well, okay, but never.
Well, we'll get to Canada.
Let's get him. Let's give him a little bit of credit here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that terrible coaching next year is a given.
Right.
I'd love to see Todd Haley come back.
Chris,
look back at Steelers history though, right? Ben was able to be successful because he came in. They had a strong defense, a strong offensive line, and a good running game.
Yeah,
exactly.
Those are the things you need.
All Ben had to do was convert a handful of third downs when he was a rookie. It's if you just give us 4 third downs, create enough to do 4 third downs per game, you're going to be great. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. If they get a top 10 pick and don't take an offensive tackle, I'm going to be livid. Like they need they should take now they have 2 second-round picks. They need to take a tackle and a center with 2 of those picks.
God, please. And a defensive lineman.
And a defensive lineman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be talent there. If you start perusing,
they should probably take another running back in the first round. Actually,
for the love of God,
fuck off, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Freak was onto something when he said, Freak said QB 2024, and I like that idea because let's face it, if your team is a little bit better, you're probably still looking at middle of the first round anyway. So, I like that idea, but let's get into the Matt Canada stuff. Did you guys really honestly believe he was going to get fired this week? Did anybody have an inkling of that whatsoever?
No. He should, but no. I didn't think it was
I didn't believe it because Pony tweeted that it was going to happen. So I knew at that moment that it wasn't going to happen.
You knew immediately that it definitely was not happening.
Yeah.
For sure not happening.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't know. Ryan, were you at all surprised?
About to tie this thing up. This is really humiliating right now.
Because they run the ball and they're physical. And like, I know Philly doesn't have Jordan Davis, he's on IR, but like, it's amazing what a running game can do. And when you actually like stick with the running game and it's just whatever, it's just frustrating.
He's going to kick it. They're not tying it up.
But
no, I'm not. No, I am not surprised that Matt Canada was not fired.
And why is
and I'm gonna say this, like, I feel like there's just an arrogance about the Steelers right now. And part of that is sticking with what they have and trying to rectify it, to spite the doubters. And I tweeted this the other day. This is just my opinion, but I tweeted this the other day, and like I said, Coach Tomlin was talking with Peter King, and Peter King was talking about the doubters of the Steelers in the post-Ben era. And Tomlin said, "Bring it on," quote me. And Tomlin never says much, and he went out of his way to say that to Peter King when listen, of course, like, I'm not saying he's going to say, no, we're going to suck, but like, why did he say anything at all? You know what I mean? Like, what?
I mean, he did famously say once, "Unleash hell."
Oh, and how'd that turn?
Remember that?
So, like,
that was great. That must have been fun for you, Ryan.
I wasn't there. That was the year before I started. But the point is, I'm not even kidding. There is an arrogance about this team, and I've been saying this for years now, that they think because they were successful in the 70s and in the 2000s that all of a sudden this shit's just gonna magically manifest and they're gonna turn this around, and they're not. And they're so far in deep with this Canada stuff that they have to ride it out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Canada is there next year.
I would be.
Well, he is under contract.
I don't think that it's arrogance so much as I just don't think they see an outcome that's going to yield better results if they fire this guy. And I get it. I mean, you got a rookie at quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could change the play caller by having Chris Sullivan do it, by having him, promoting him to the OC. Mike Sullivan, excuse me. Sully. You could do that, and he's got experience as an offensive coordinator, but he runs his own kind of an offense. He's got his own philosophy, and it doesn't necessarily mesh with what Canada has installed now. Not to mention the fact that the thing they've got now is so fucking simplistic that I'm not sure that changing the play calling when you only run 12 plays per game anyway is going to change anything. I mean, it'll change things situationally, but it's still not going to be difficult to read for defenses. They've got to install a whole new scheme, and trying to do that mid-season with a rookie quarterback is impractical. So I understand where Tomlin's coming from, but I disagree. And that's where I'm coming from with it. I would fire Matt Canada outright because the players don't seem to believe in what they are doing. I would fire some some people. I would bench some players. I would shake things up.
It's like he makes them look bad and they make him look bad. And that's like the worst combination you can have. No, it's so bad.
I mean, it's like there's like a whole lot of shared responsibility, but there is an opportunity here for Mike to tell people to get out of their feelings and just concentrate on doing their fucking jobs. And honestly, watching that film back, that was a lot of the problem. I'm sorry, on Sunday was they got into some quicksand and guys all of a sudden decided they needed to make a play. They needed to make a play. And they were deviating from their responsibilities or looking to juke guys when they were 3 yards away from them, trying to make the long play instead of just moving the fucking chains. Just do your goddamn job. Just do your job. And count on the other guys on the field to do their jobs too. And maybe that's a good place to start, because what they did, everybody was trying to do something, make something happen.
It happens when you're desperate. You start pressing.
And Kenny Pickett played his worst fucking game ever as a Steeler on Sunday. That was horrible. There were guys running open, and he wasn't hitting them. He wasn't calling protections. He wasn't moving things.
Missed some blitzers that were, I thought, obvious. Pretty easy to pick up. That's as far as Canada goes, though. He's not going to get fired. I don't see it happening. They're going to ride with this, and I see Chris on here's, commenting that, maybe this has more to do with what Tomlin's future holds. I don't know.
Tomlin's not leaving.
I don't think so either. I mean, he's got the safest gig in pro sports.
It's not just about that. He's stubborn. He's not going to.
He's very stubborn.
Suddenly quit because he's having a little bit of adversity. He's going to stick it out and flip it around. That's Tomlin. He's like, nah, I'm doing it. And that whole thing at the beginning of the year where he spoke when he shouldn't have, you can quote me on this. That's vintage fucking Mike Tomlin. Like I said, we're going to unleash hell in December. When he said that, I was like, dude, you should have said nothing.
He likes the challenge.
We'll see how things turn out here.
Yep.
We feel pretty confident about blah, blah, blah. Something boring, as Ryan likes to put it, which is accurate as hell. Say something boring, Mike. Well, we feel like we've got a good chance, blah, blah, blah.
Where Ryan, I'll ask you this. Where is Art Rooney in all this? Art Rooney too.
Oh,
I mean, is he just saying, hey, Mike, I want you to run the show, you and Omar? Is he even in the conversations, or is he just sitting at his desk, eating some crackers like Kramer?
No. Art's always been involved.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Art, but he's not a football guy like his dad was. But doesn't mean the Art's not smart and hasn't been involved this whole life. Like I said, I've said this on the show before. It was always Kevin, Coach, and Art. I'm assuming that that Omar has replaced Kevin in that sort of trio. And it's a committee decision. But I will say, Omar does not have the personnel experience that Kevin did.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Perhaps
does Andy Weidel fit into that triumvirate that's now a quadumvirate? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm speculating.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I do not know. Maybe. I mean, I'm assuming Andy, and then Sheldon White, I believe, is the other pro personnel person that they brought on board.
Right.
But I would say, in my opinion, since Omar doesn't have that personnel experience, I would guess that Tomlin and Art have a little bit more say in things, but that's just me going off of what I observed when I was there.
Yeah. Ian, did the Steelers make – how would you classify the deal to get Chase Claypool for a second?
Well –
that.
Yeah, there is that.
There's that. We said on the show a few weeks ago, I said if they got a day 2 pick, I would be happy. And they got a very good day 2 pick.
Yep.
There was some reports of whether or not it was Chicago's pick or if it was the Ravens pick that Chicago got in the Roquan Smith deal. Seems like it kind of settled on it's actually Chicago's pick, which is even better. They got like the best possible deal of a probably high second round pick. I think
at least a middle second round pick, 15, 16. I mean, that's
right.
Pretty damn solid.
And if you think about it, right, 15-16 in the second round is still a top 50 pick.
Right.
And that's the thing that if you look over time at the second round picks the Steelers have had during the Kevin Colbert era, they really didn't have any. Well, other than their first round picks, their second round picks were always outside the top 50. They were always in that like 55 through 70,
sure,
55 through 64 range, I guess, would be the end of the second round. But not a lot of not a lot of top 50 picks, just first round picks, basically.
It's actually a higher pick than they used when they selected Chase Claypool.
Yeah, it is. That was 49, I think, maybe. It was their first pick that year.
I want to say it was
52.
Might have been 52.
Seems like 52.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Okay,
but
at any rate, I'm happy with it. It's a good move. They got rid of one Canadian. They should have gotten rid of two.
Apparently, Matt Canada, I'm informed, is not Canadian.
I don't know about that. I think,
he's from Nova Scotia.
I think we need to lock him up anyways.
About a guy from Canada who broke into a congresswoman's home and assaulted her husband, and that he'd actually entered the country illegally and was Canadian. And it occurred to us that perhaps Matt Canada should be investigated, just to be safe, just to be sure, because you just never know.
Well,
probably just round up all the Canadians.
Gordon Lightfoot.
I mean, I'm still disappointed that
I love 99.9% of the Canadians, but I don't know. That Matt Canada looks a little sketch to me. I think maybe they should look at that one guy.
I want to look at him a little closer.
Yeah,
check that birth certificate.
Just for a couple or 3 months, just
long enough.
Anytime you name yourself after a country, it's a little skeptical.
Home confinement, I think, would be fine. They just
to his defense, he did not name himself.
Well,
he could have.
Damn ancestors.
So, Ryan, your thoughts on the trade of Claypool over to the Bears?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. I said on the show a couple weeks ago I wouldn't do anything less than a third, and at a 3, I said I might not do it, but I mean, a 2 is hard to pass up.
Absolutely.
My one thing about it is that Steelers Nation, a fair amount were like, it sucks to see him go, but then a fair amount were like, yeah, he's just another guy, he's a dime a dozen, whatever, and I don't agree with that at all.
Right?
He's huge. He has potential still, and I know, and I've been as critical as anybody about him. He's so awkward when he tries to make adjustments to the ball, but only T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb have more scrimmage yards than he does out of the 2020 draft class. He's one of only 6 wide receivers in that draft class that have 14-plus touchdowns. So he's not just another dude. But again, I'm not going to complain about it because we got a second-round pick, and it shows to me that they're thinking long-term.
I would agree.
They've acknowledged the fact that this is a rebuild.
Yeah.
And he's better than whoever ends up replacing him. He's better than the guys behind him on the depth chart.
Yeah.
But as I alluded to before, he wasn't in their long-term plans. They weren't going to re-sign him.
Right.
And that being the case, you take a look at where you're at and you go, okay, where are we really going to be for the next year and a half while this guy's under contract? How competitive are we going to be? And the reality is not very. So Steelers aren't a rebuild. They can use all the picks they can get. If somebody wants to, in my mind, overpay for a Chase Claypool, the Steelers should take it. And they did. And the Packers offered it too, and the Bears offered it too. And the Steelers decided that the Bears 2 was going to be a higher pick, and so they took the one from the Bears.
Ben, who fills his void in the slot? Because
I don't know, man.
Well,
Sims, Sims, I think.
Sims is probably the best option. Sims is more of a natural slot than anyone else.
Sims is a slot only. I mean, that's all he can do.
And you're not putting Boykin in there. He's not a slot guy.
No. Olszewski.
Well, that was their issue coming into this year that we talked about on the show, that they had 3 guys who are outside receivers, and it's like, who's going to play the slot?
I mean, you could have boy can go in there and run nothing but posts and corner routes. I don't know what else he would do. I don't know what else he would do in the slot.
Go. The slot go to pull the safety off.
The slot go. You could do that. I mean, the Seahawks have had a lot of success with that. I don't know, man. The reality is this: the Steelers can't run the ball. They're not throwing the ball well.
No.
Their offense is stalled. That's putting it nicely. They weren't going to get a lot out of this guy anyway. It wasn't in their long-term plans. It was time to make a decision, and they made one.
Is it possible they go to a lot more two tight end stuff?
I mean, it's possible.
Yay, Zach Gentry passes.
Yeah, I like Gentry. He's a likable guy. Not a great football player.
I do too. I'm just saying.
He's not a
likable guy.
He's not a great football player, but he's a likable guy.
I appreciate what he's turned himself into, but he's just
he's respectable. Yeah. I mean, remember when they drafted him, we were like, what the fuck? This guy can't do anything. He can't do shit.
No.
At least now he's a respectable backup, which is I'm fine with. I mean, if he can at this point now learn to block as well as Jeremy Tooman did, I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I will be ecstatic. A 5th round pick? Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's lasted a lot longer than I thought he would, and a lot of that is just good old fashioned hard work. Which I think all of us can appreciate.
His body's also filled out,
Yeah.
He's doing better. He's not a guy you want to be your starter, but he's doing better.
I have not heard anything, and so if he said something, I may have missed it. But to this point, Claypool has not really said much about being in Pittsburgh.
He tweeted a thank you, and that was pretty much it. Yeah,
tweeted a thank you, but I kind of
he's trying to handle it classy, and I
appreciate
that.
Yep.
Unlike Antonio Brown.
Hey, by the way, can we get Antonio Brown and Pac-Man Jones? Just put them together, let them tweet together, and we'll all try to interpret what they're saying.
I don't know, man. I think they should do like a what do they call that? Carpool karaoke together. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love that idea.
And then we could have the AB translator sit there and translate the conversation. Maybe.
Yeah. AB translator. Love it. Yeah, I can see that happening. The other big trade, of course, was the Steelers getting William Jackson III, a guy that we all know they loved in the draft in 2016, and the Bengals took him right ahead of us, and so we took Artie Burns. We know how that turned out, and now a few years later, we get William Jackson. He's 30 years old, a little dinged up, but he clearly wanted out of Washington as he drove about 95 to get to Pittsburgh, allegedly.
He said he drove from D.C. to Pittsburgh in 3 hours.
Right. And
it was overnight, so there's probably no traffic on the road, but still, yeah, Mark's right. He was probably doing about 90.
He was doing pretty good.
He was doing AB on McKnight Road speed.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was going fast.
Yeah.
Moved to Virginia someplace, and that's a little closer, but damn.
So what is the move for him a sign of? I mean, look, Ahkello Witherspoon got beat sucks. Not once, not twice. He got beat 3 times.
But they're like similar types of players where
that's where I'm going here. Yeah,
they're inconsistent, and sometimes they make some big plays, sometimes they blow some plays.
Right.
Is Jackson more talented? Yeah, probably. I think the issue with Witherspoon on Sunday was his confidence.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
Didn't.
That's why I thought that. From my perspective, that was why Tomlin pulled him. His confidence was shot, and it was like, okay, well, now I got to pull this guy because this is just going to get worse. But yeah, I think they're talking about him potentially starting next week, which honestly would surprise me. He didn't fit well in Washington. He's been hurt the last year and a half. I guess we'll see what comes of it. Bottom line, when he joined the Steelers, apparently before they did the trade, they had an agreement between him and his agent and the Steelers that they were going to waive his per game roster bonuses. Yeah. So he lowered his salary to get out of Washington. He lowered his salary about $350,000 to get out $377,000
Right.
to get out of Washington. And I was just like, okay, that's wow.
Well, and he said that, he was hearing that he might get cut from Washington.
Right.
So, if he's thinking, hey, I could either keep my current contract, which has a pretty nice number next year, and go to a team with Terrell Austin, who he knows from his time in Cincinnati, that, maybe he at least has a chance to stick around and make that money next year, giving up $300K to have a job for the rest of this year, plus that contract for next year, potentially. I mean, obviously the Steelers could cut him or renegotiate or whatever, but it's still on the books as it is currently.
And it would be, just for clarification, it would be a little over $12 million is what he would be.
13. It's 13 all in.
Is it 13?
With all his bonuses, with his roster bonus, his workout bonus, all the bonuses, it's 13. So, $13 million total compensation next year if they decide to keep him. This year, basically, it's a $2.77 million 9-game audition.
Yeah, right.
And if they decide they're going to keep him, they have to pay him a roster bonus on March 19th.
Right.
If they decide they are not going to keep him, they can cut him, and they're out nothing.
Right. Yep.
And his guaranteed money is paid out.
They didn't even lose a draft pick. It was just one of those swaps where they just moved back a little bit. So
and they're both conditional. I'd love to see the conditions on this. So it's like a conditional 7 for a conditional 6 in 2025. We're not even going to remember this when it happens. We're going to be like, what? Who did they trade for that? What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, everybody, let me just remind you that we are part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. And of course, that means we are very pleased to be part of DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets. If your team wins, just place a $5 bet on any football game only at DraftKings Sportsbook using code TPPN. Check it out. Let the people know.
I have one more William Jackson thought too.
Do it.
Jackson was also miscast in Washington. They
Big time.
had him playing in a zone scheme, and
You're right.
He's always been a better man corner. It's like, remember when Nnamdi Asomugha went from the Raiders to Philadelphia, and they tried to take a really good zone corner and make him play. Or no, the other way. Sorry, he was a really good man corner. They tried to put him in a zone scheme, and he just stunk. And everyone's like, "Why does Asomugha stink now?" It's like because he was completely playing a different scheme, and that was kind of. I mean,
but what do the Steelers run now?
They're running a lot of zone, which is stupid. But also, like Jackson was a guy that Terrell Austin kind of knew from his time in Cincy, so maybe he has a little more faith in him to actually play man. So I don't know. I'd like to see them run more man. And what's weird is that Austin's schemes when he was in Cincinnati was a lot more cover 2 man based than what he's run now in Pittsburgh, which is more of still the traditional kind of zone blitz, which makes you wonder, like, how much say does Terrell Austin actually have over the defense?
Are you suggesting Tomlin is once again got his fingers all over it?
I think Tomlin definitely still has his fingers all over it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that as well.
But I mean, if you bring in guys who can play man, maybe you can actually play man.
That would be most helpful. Yeah. Najee Harris, Jalen.
You can also mix it. You can play combo coverage. You can play man on one side and zone on the other. There's all kinds of different shit you can do to try to accommodate players. But it just doesn't seem like the Steelers are really interested in doing that this year. They're just like, nah, you're just going to run the shit we call.
Well,
and you're if you don't fit, figure out how to fit. Which is our fucking gripe with what's going on this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan.
I just want one quick thing about William Jackson. I just laugh because he the Steelers. Oh, we really liked him 6 years ago. It's like it's such a steal. Like, oh, it's
2017
this guy
draft,
6 years ago. Wonder where he's doing. It's like,
right,
and it's fine. Listen, this is a nice audition. Maybe he sticks around and he's good. To me, it's not about the money or anything. He seems like a really a really good dude. Didn't he tear his pec?
No.
I'm not
He had
sure.
a serious injury, but I don't think it was a pec.
All right. He definitely had an injury
You
where
can
like
never have too many corners, as we all know.
No, but like I meant that like he's overcome adversity. Like he fits the Steelers build. Like I get it, and he just seems like a good dude, and I'm sure he's excited about. Who wouldn't be excited about leaving the Washington franchise,
right? Or the Jets.
But I had to laugh. I just had to laugh, and it's like as soon as I saw the trade, like. I was still there when they were interested in him, and I remember he was a pre-draft visit. He was very nice.
Yeah.
But I was just like right away. I was just like, typical Steelers thinking 6-7 years in the past,
reminiscing. Now, did you pick up Artie Burns from the airport, Ryan?
No, I did not pick up Artie Burns.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Fortunately, I had retired from doing those duties in my latter years there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Reminiscing was last week's song. We got a brand new song.
What are we doing this week, Ryan?
I don't know. I'm gonna get a refill here in a second.
Yeah, he's warming up to Casey Kasem. I can see it already.
I think he's been warming up since about 2 this afternoon.
Well, it sounds like that's.
I'm a little under the weather too, so my voice is a little bit deeper. So
it's going to be like Casey Kasem smoking a pack
need
of
to
Marlboros.
add some nasal.
It could be like
a little more nasally.
Midnight Special, Wolfman Jack.
Let's talk running backs a little bit.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
I mean, look.
Go ahead.
I think we all agree that Jaylen Warren does a pretty damn good job of hitting the hole. He goes straight ahead. He's had some moments where he's danced every once in a while, but
he doesn't dance. Decisive. He stops.
Right. But at the same time, something's going on with Najee Harris. I wish I could put my finger on it.
I
know. Week before last, he was much better. This last week, he got, in my opinion, and this is just me, my opinion, I'm speculating, but I think he got frustrated and he tried to do too much, and he ended up playing very poorly because of it. Mm-hmm. And he was probably, when he watched the film, angry at himself.
I would think.
About the way that he played.
Yeah.
Because he played dumb.
And to be fair, Philadelphia's got a pretty good front.
They reversed that call.
And the
Philly has a great front, and they rotate guys in.
I'm telling you,
everybody fresh.
Mason Cole spent as much time in the backfield as Najee.
Yeah, Mason Cole got his ass handed to him.
Yes, he did.
I mean, that was just mano a mano, and it was not going well for him. And obviously, we all know in football, whether you're talking Pee Wee, the NFL, if you can't control the middle of the line, you're not doing anything. Nope. And I think that was a big part of the early problems there with the running game. And now look, they eventually got some things going, but it was late. The game was pretty much decided by that point in the third or fourth quarter when they start running the ball. Do any of you really think that Warren would be that much more successful if you just all of a sudden flipped the script and said, okay, Warren, you're starting?
No.
I think Warren deserves more carries. I'll put it that way. I think he deserves more touches in the offense because he runs decisively. Sometimes he's decisively wrong, but when he's decisively right, he hits it up in there a lot better than Najee does, and he has that next level burst, which we've seen on a couple plays that have gotten called back for stupid fucking penalties, like that one against the Browns. How many times are we going to run this RPO shit and have an illegal man downfield before they figure out that our linemen are smart enough
who's
to
that
run
on?
the damn
No. Who is that on? When you run an RPO, the blocking scheme is the same as a run play.
Yes.
So who is that on? That is on the quarterback.
Not
throwing the fucking ball fast enough. You need to get the ball out of your fucking hands now.
It's on
1
the quarter,
second.
It's on the quarterback,
careful,
but it's also on the offensive coordinator to realize, hey, my linemen aren't smart enough to run this shit. They get penalties on it all the time. Maybe I'll call a different damn play.
No, again, the blocking scheme is being run correctly. The problem is the quarterback is hanging onto the ball too goddamn long because he's a fucking rookie. And so we're getting called for guys downfield who are doing their job. Those guys are doing what the coaches ask them to do. It's nothing to do with the offensive lineman being smart enough.
But to Ian's
That's
point,
the quarterback not getting rid of the fucking ball.
No, I don't disagree with that. But to Ian's point, if you keep having a problem with it, then why the fuck do you keep calling it?
Exactly. Hey, Mark swore too.
Honestly, because they don't have a goddamn thing they do well.
Yeah,
and an RPO gives them some kind of flexibility, some kind of
they're so limited.
Oh no, you're right, Ryan. They are.
It makes them less predictable. Okay, that's why they keep doing it. That's why. But if he would get rid of the fucking ball quickly, and he's got to do it now. He cannot hold the ball on an RPO. That's what he keeps doing.
Right.
That's
no, it's got to be out.
All those penalties are on Pickett. They're not on the fucking offensive line.
The read is made.
They're running it the way they are told to run it. The O-line is doing their job. Pickett isn't.
So, as Ryan likes to say, if you got the toothpaste out of the tube already with Pickett, do you keep doing this with him and say, okay, kid, you got to figure it out. You're going to get better, or okay. I agree.
Lumps. You just deal with it. It sucks. Not a little bit. Doesn't suck a little. It sucks a lot.
Yeah, it does. It makes for 3 tough hours for Steelers fans to watch. It does.
No, I just want to say one thing real quick about the running backs. If I didn't tell you who was a first-round pick and you watched the tape, you'd probably think Jaylen Warren was the first-round pick out of the group. And that's the reason why, just like I didn't want a quarterback in the first round this year, I didn't want a running back in the first round last year.
Nope. We agree.
My only thing about Warren, though, is he is decisive. He hits the hole hard and he can catch the ball, and he's instinctive. He lowers his head. My only thing is, though, like he does a lot of stuff in garbage time. Okay.
Yes.
And
that's very true. You can't dismiss that.
I'm just saying, but
a lot of those yards are garbage time.
We were talking about this last week when we were watching the game. Exactly the point that Ryan's making. It's like, somebody next to me yells, "Welcome to the game. Why the fuck weren't you doing that in the first quarter?" Because they weren't playing a soft defense in the first quarter, you asshole. What fucking game are you watching?
Yeah, so it's like, I wonder, you wonder like what would Jaylen Warren do if he got to start the game? I don't know, but I will say this: Jaylen Warren does much more in garbage time than Kenny Pickett does, and that concerns me, and that's why I said earlier.
Wow,
and that's why
Ryan,
I said earlier.
What we need to get you is some blue and gold glasses.
Yes,
I think
that you could be
some bracelets
a little more
that say, "What would Jaylen Warren do?"
So that's why I said earlier, I want to see Kenny Pickett improve these final 9 games, because even in and now he doesn't have a 6'4", 235-pound wide receiver to throw to.
He's still got a bigger receiver on the outside with Pickens.
You mean the guy that didn't catch a ball in the second half last week?
Yep.
Whether that's his fault or not.
He didn't really have great opportunities.
I was going to say that you mean the guy that had 2 steps on a defensive back run and a fly route down the field, and the quarterback threw a back shoulder comeback route too. But like, it's
shit like that.
Listen,
there was a spot where Chase was wide open, standing in the end zone, and he threw the ball to DJ.
Watch what you're saying.
Fuck?
Listen, they're out. They're listening. The Kenny Pickett stands are listening. I'm just saying.
Hey, Kenny played a really bad game, and everyone does that from time to time.
He wasn't good.
He sucked.
Yep.
He was fucking awful on Sunday.
He missed a lot of wide open guys.
He missed a lot of throws on Sunday. I'm not saying they would have won the game, but it would have been a better game. It would have been competitive.
But
he wouldn't have thrown as many fucking picks. Jesus Christ.
But do you think that they tell him if his, do they limit him in any way? Do they say, hey, listen, if
No.
your first read isn't there, check down. Do you think they
No.
limit him in any way?
No, they did that to Mason. Clearly.
What about Mitch?
Mitch? No, but Mitch did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mitch did it because he was afraid of getting benched. But getting back to Kenny, no, I don't think they do that, and they shouldn't. You know, they should not instill fear in him at this point. They should be like, look, yeah, you got to be careful and not throw that pick. But by the same token, if you're not taking any chances, you're not growing.
Yep.
You gotta take some shots, man. And the shots he was taking last week were poor throws. I don't know if that's mechanics, decision making, both. I suspect both. But those were not good throws. Like, I mean, even watching this right now, Davis Mills is throwing better balls than Kenny Pickett was last week.
Not to mention, the Texans have like nobody. Like Brandon Cooks isn't playing. Nico Collins is out. Like they're throwing to scrub cakes right now, and like they're putting up a better fight than the Steelers did.
Brandon Moore had a nice play earlier.
Yeah, Chris Moore.
I want to.
You don't even know his name.
Ian has a question for the group here.
All right, so we're
what's the question?
All right, we're basically at the halfway point in the season. So I saw this asked on Twitter today, and it's a fun question we might as well ask: is who's been the best player on the team so far, or who's your MVP so far?
Scarps?
Matt Canada.
Wow, that's really hard.
I know who I would have said until last week.
I'm gonna say, oh my God, do I have to go right now? Does anybody have?
I would have gone with Minka until last week too.
Yeah.
This is hard right now. There's so many turds.
All right, I'll tell you what I said. So shout out to my buddy Josh Roundtree on Twitter, who started off as a high school football commenter with the Trib Live High School Sports Networks, worked his way up with the Fan, and now has some airtime. So there's my one Whippeal shout out for Joe during the show. But also I jokingly replied,
Clareton Bears? Is that who you're mentioning? What?
Yeah, well, no, I jokingly replied that Christian Kuntz was my MVP because he's the only guy that hasn't drastically fucked anything up this year.
Good time. There was 9 more.
You guys are going to be surprised with who I go with, but go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there were a lot of people that said TJ Watt to the question because
Watt, he played one fucking game.
He played one game, but he was a monster in that game, and we pretty much won because of him. So, but at any rate, I'll defer to you guys because I would probably say Minka if I had to, but there's really, maybe Boswell, but he's missed a couple kicks also.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been Bos.
I'll go with I'm ready if you are.
All right,
go ahead.
Go Scarps.
Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, you know he had a smart ass answer coming.
Is it really a smart ass answer?
Yes.
He has led the team to game-winning drives on both of their wins.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to go with Terrell Edmonds. I'm going with Terrell Edmonds. Steady Eddie.
Yep. I would have been leaning with him and Minka.
He has not been spectacular. He has not been bad even once.
Mm-hmm.
Steady Eddie all the way along.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Everybody else has been up and down all over the place and inconsistent and shitty, including Mitch Trubisky, who was incredibly inconsistent.
Hey, man.
But yeah, you're right. You make a good point, Ryan. He has led them to game-winning drives on 2 different occasions, and they have 2 wins.
2 wins.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So
that is they don't have a win.
That is a really, really good point. I got to give that one to you.
Jerry Dulac this week was talking about plays and the fact that you look at the one game they had literally in Miami 4 picks in their hands they couldn't convert. They had some other plays that
hi Joe
looked good, but go back to that Jets game. I mean, if Deontay Johnson's toe stays in bounds, it's a touchdown. And does Mike pull Trubisky at that point? I mean, because that's a different
Fair
game.
question.
I mean, so it's like you're talking. The NFL is always a game of inches, but man, it comes on a game of plays.
Does he pull him? Probably not in that
I don't
Jets
think
game.
so.
I don't think so either.
No.
Do
if
you
he
think?
gotten down? But I mean, basically, I don't think pulling him was a bad decision. They needed
No, I don't
a
either.
spark.
They
needed a
absolutely.
spark
I
badly.
agree.
Do you think that's what
They
the
need a
argument
spark
was
now.
about?
Yeah.
No, fuck no. That was
You
no.
don't think Deontay was like, Mitch, why did you not make my feet a half-inch smaller? I would have been in.
No,
Mitch
I
was
think
I don't
I
know. I'm sorry.
think
I don't
maybe
know.
Mitch was like, "What the fuck? Why couldn't you come down with that ball?" I don't
Yes.
know. And then it escalated from, "Hey, I'm open all the goddamn time. Why the fuck don't you throw me the fucking thing when I'm open?"
And Tomlin said, I'm not going to deal with the minutia, so
Yeah.
let's get Kenny Pickett up.
I'm not going to deal with the minutia. This is a player's issue. Cam, go deal with that.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is a good time on Thursdays.
And then Mitch
Oh.
said, Deontay, when I throw you the ball, it hits you in the hands and the other team catches it. So
Touche.
Bingo. Yeah, no, I probably, like I said, he probably was like, "What the fuck? That was a touchdown." And then he was like, "Hey, I'm open all the goddamn time. Why don't you throw me the ball when I'm wide fucking open instead of when I've got this little tiny window?" And then it escalates and goes back and forth from there, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. You guys know. I mean,
yeah.
shit.
when
When things
the
get
game, whatever.
You guys have all been in competitive situations before, and blood gets hot, and
Yep.
people say things.
Yep.
All right? And most of us are mature enough that when it's over, we can go, "Okay, well, sorry. That was,
Yeah.
sorry."
Heat of battle.
And then, we set it aside, and it's like, it's like, okay, whatever. That thing happened, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Right? So to make it a reason that a guy was benched, to me, is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
I mean, those guys get in heated arguments and fist fights so fucking often that you
I think it's worth talking about, though, because at the outset of the show, somebody, I don't remember, might have been Ryan, mentioned, Najee said some things, some other people have said some things. There's even been stuff kind of leaked out that, they thought Claypool, wasn't a great locker room presence. So that was one of the reasons why they were willing to deal him. This team has problems just in the locker room, and it manifests itself on the field, but, they're not all on the same page.
No.
No.
I mean, even just football.
Yeah.
Even just football. It's plainly obvious that Kenny and the wide receivers are not on the same page. And watching this last game, the guy who was on the wrong page was fucking Kenny. Jesus Christ. The wide receiver's making the right read, and you were fucking up. Why? And honestly, there were some throws the game before they did that shit too. Where I was like, dude, this week was just worse.
Yeah, this might not be something that I noticed this week because we've talked about this, but one thing that's becoming clear to me is that this is the first time in a long time where they don't have a veteran presence in every group or every unit.
Right.
And Cam can only do so much. So you're and I know he's a great player, and I don't want to just say this, and I say this, I don't want to say this like you think I'm just saying this lightly, but your James Ferriers of the world, you know, they always had and I even said this earlier to my friends about even back when I started, a guy like Chris Hoke, Hokey bro, that dude was there for a long time, and he was just a role player. But he won shit, and he meant something. And you had your, even your Chris Hokes, your Jericho Cautry's, I mentioned Ferrier earlier. There was always just no matter what way you turn, there was just always somebody there that Darius Hayward, always just somebody there that maybe they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they've been in the shit before, and they been in the shit with you or with somebody else.
And even when they brought in D'Angelo Williams.
You just look around now and you're like, Cam, okay, TJ, okay, Miles Jack, but he's not here. oh yeah, the guy that has the most playoff experience as a Steeler is Boz. Yeah. It's like, how are you? How does that motivate you? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
wait a minute. Cam came in 2010.
I'm pretty sure Boz has more postseason experience.
No. It was 2011. Excuse me. That Cam came in.
Boz has more.
Cam actually played in that Tim Tebow game.
Jeez, did he did.
Yep.
But Cam did not play in the 2015 two postseason games. He had a torn pec.
That's right.
That's right. That's
Boz
right.
played in one game.
So Boz is the most tenured,
most plays, most games.
Hey, let's follow the kicker out to the field,
guys. But I'm just saying, and I know it's like people say, "Oh, as a professional athlete, you shouldn't have to get motivated." But
doesn't matter.
Shit, dude. Ben isn't there anymore.
Right.
Troy's long gone. Hines is long gone. All these guys
Ben wasn't really a motivator. He wasn't that kind of a guy.
No, but I'm just saying that
sometimes it's just a presence.
There's just nobody in that locker room that's won anything.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
Your Hines Wards and your Jerome Bettises and your James Harrisons and your James Ferriers and even Casey fucking Hampton, who didn't say a lot, but when he spoke, it was it was notable.
And
also a very good player.
Yep.
And besides having that defense and offensive line and running game, and I know he had his issues early on. Ben had his issues early on, but those are the guys that really, really helped Ben.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Whether they took him to the side and were like, okay, enough's enough, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But the point is, there was only so much, I'll call it fuckery. There was only so much fuckery that could happen.
Right.
Now, I look at around, it's like, can Cam control all of that? I don't think so. I don't.
If you got rookies being rookies, who shuts it down?
And is Boz controlling that?
Right. I think it's a great topic.
And actually, maybe that's some value, at least on the defensive back end, that William Jackson brings, being a 31-year-old guy. Think about it. All right, Minka's your highest paid guy, but he's 27. Edmonds is 26.
So young.
Or maybe not even. Wait, hold on. No, I was looking at next year. Minka's 25. Minka's 26. Sorry, Edmonds is 25. I think.
I'm old.
Yeah, all these guys like Cam Sutton's 27. And Sutton's been around for 5 years, but still, Miles Jack is 27. All these guys are still in their mid to sort of late 20s on the back end of the defense. That William Jackson has actually kind of been around and knows what's going on. Witherspoon's 27. He's probably the oldest one of the bunch.
I didn't realize that William Jackson was so old when he got drafted. He's only been in the league since 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
How old's William Jackson?
No. 2016.
2016 was the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the year we took Artie Burns.
Right.
Wait,
he went just before Burns.
Yeah, wrong draft.
Yeah.
One pick before. Whatever.
Wait,
2016. I didn't realize he was 30. I just thought the guy was in his late 20s.
Jackson's 30?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's only 6 months older than Kenny Pickett?
4 months. 4 months.
I don't even care. I said it.
And Brandon
Pickett's
Whedon.
90.
And Brandon Whedon.
Brandon Whedon was 28. I
He was 29, dude. He was 29. They burned a first-round pick.
Whedon's collecting Social Security already.
How fucking Brownsy
he went to every CCAC campus in Pittsburgh.
William Jackson just turned 30. His birthday was October 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's
30
bad.
though.
Yeah.
I do just real quick want to make sure that Mr. Kasem is warming up in the bullpen.
Oh, he is, but we ended it so soon.
No, not yet. I just want to make sure he's in the bullpen.
No, he's there, man. He's ready.
Very good, very good. Other issues to discuss.
There's plenty of them. I don't
know. This is a clusterfuck.
It is. It's a mess. 2-6.
It isn't just that. This show is a clusterfuck tonight. We're just like, man.
I think it's a pretty good show.
It's the bye week, and the Steelers
Right.
suck
It is.
ass.
It is the bye week. You all can tell how much prep we did this week. Sorry.
Yeah, very little.
We showed up, opened some beers, and went, "Hey, let's talk about the Steelers."
So go back to your.
How's that different than any other week?
It really isn't. Preseason predictions. I had the Steelers at 8-9, and they're not getting to 8 wins.
I think they still might.
Really?
Yeah,
6
I
wins out of the
feeling.
last 9?
I think. Okay, here's what I think. I think over the second half, because the second half of the season is much easier. The Steelers played the hardest.
They did.
Strength of season.
Yep.
Schedule
so far through 6 games or 8 games.
Strength of schedule through 8 games. They're 20th for the remainder of the year. Okay.
Yep.
They're going to win some games. They are going to, much to the chagrin of Steelers fans, not tank.
No,
people are going to be really
happen.
pissed because they're going to fuck up their draft position. Oh my God.
Okay, so who are they going to beat?
Well,
they've got New Orleans coming in.
Yeah.
Okay.
New Orleans does not have a good offense.
They don't, but
they have a good defense though.
Pretty good defense.
Defense ain't
bad. Then they have the Bengals.
Who do not look the same without Jamar Chase.
They do not.
They'll be different. They'll be different.
way different, and there's familiarity there.
As we just saw, it's a division game.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like those division games.
Absolutely, anything can happen. They've got dates with a Falcons team that at the beginning of the season I had that as a W, not a problem. Now, I don't know that I can say that.
I still think they're going to beat the Falcons.
Okay. They got the Colts. That should damn well better be a win the way the Colts have been playing.
You would hope.
Especially if Sam Ellinger is playing quarterback.
Right.
I'm really not looking forward to that Monday night game, though. That's really going to annoy the shit out of me.
They've still got 2 with Baltimore.
The Rats.
And Baltimore is...
They're going to lose both of those.
I think they will. I mean, they're other than Bateman going down, they were getting healthy.
Swept by Baltimore. God damn it.
We haven't lost to Baltimore in, what,
I don't know.
2 years?
Lamar Jackson... I love Lamar, but man, he does not do well against the Steelers.
He doesn't.
No,
I don't understand it, but it's like the Steelers just seem to have his fucking number for some reason.
Because the Steelers scheme defensively different than for some reason every other team does against them. That the Steelers designate a pass rusher just to go after Jackson, regardless of what else happens on the play.
Right.
Like the one year that Lamar actually realized, oh shit, Bud Dupree's just coming after me every damn play, regardless of what I do. So I'm going to hand it off because he's coming after me every damn play.
Right.
And Ian, that to me is what I think that they'll probably do. That I think Lamar's a lot smarter than he used to be. Obviously, he's been in the league a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got of course. Hey, imagine that. The fucking Ravens just Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill, Ryan Scarpino, just whatever. You know what I mean? Just like, here we go. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what are like it blows my mind. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, they'll beat the Panthers. But then I'm like, what happens if it's Baker back and Baker knows this team a little bit? And listen,
you can take Baker Mayfield out of Cleveland, but you can't take the Cleveland out of Baker Mayfield.
Baker's Baker, man.
So here's the other thing: 2-6. They have to get to 7-2 just to be above 500.
Correct.
Right?
Which I don't see happening.
No,
I'm sorry, I do not.
I can see 5 or 6 wins over the last.
I can see 8-9
7 games.
I don't think I can see 7-2.
I can see. I can see 7-10 or 8-9 at this point. I predicted at the beginning of the year, and everybody told me on Twitter that I was being a fucking hater and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, Ryan, you too. I was like, nope. They're gonna start 1-5 or 2-4, and everybody's gonna be apoplectic. Now we're fucking 2-6. Everyone wants Canada fired. People are talking about Tomlin being fired at the end of the year. Blah blah blah. Tomlin's on his way out. No, he's not. I don't know what the hell you're smoking. Tomlin has great job security. He can do whatever the fuck he wants this
Pretty
year.
much.
And probably next. Sorry, guys. I mean, it sucks. I don't like watching it either. This reminds me of the 80s.
I guess what my question is, though, is are they going to win with defense?
I don't know if they're going to find ways to win. Remember 2019 when we had Mason and Duck? That shit?
Sure.
And we just kept finding ways to win over and over. And
you know what we did a lot of that year? We had defensive and special teams touchdowns.
Yes.
That's the one thing we haven't gotten this year is, other than the Bengals game at the beginning of the year, we haven't gotten a defensive score. And I think I remember on this show saying, you know, if the Steelers don't get a defensive or special teams touchdown, they're not scoring 20 points. And now, we're not getting defensive
exactly where
touchdowns. And
what I was talking.
You know, it would be really, really cool if Steel Dad would let us comment on the comments chat with the other folks that are commenting.
I don't know if I can do that.
He probably can. He just doesn't want us to because
I honestly don't know.
He's afraid of what we're right.
Oh, I can give two shits what you're right. I don't think I can though.
Steel Dad.
Hey, what do we?
He said fuck earlier too. I mean, this
is that was great.
Yeah.
There goes our PG-13 rating.
Oh,
it's all Steel Dad's fault.
Come on, send me the hate mail.
Send Steel Dad your hate mail as usual.
We want to
have problems with whatever.
You want to do one last question, and then Casey can make an appearance.
Yes.
What's the last question?
The last question, and Ian, who's the brightest of the bunch,
That's fair.
Pointed out, what can they do in the short term? And what can they do in the short term? And I've been saying
Ian.
Yes, I've been saying this for weeks now. What they can do in the short term is try to help out Kenny Pickett, just like
Really?
They
don't say. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, okay. Ben, and I'm not comparing Pickett to Ben, but Ben was the beneficiary of a really good defense, strong offensive line, and a run game.
Yep. No question.
I know Naj has sucked, but if what they can do in the short term is try to establish a run game and stick to it and be consistent, okay? You know, I'm not saying that it's going to work on every drive or whatnot, and I'm not talking even jet sweeps and shit like that. I'm just saying just like man on man, try to knock the dude over and and that's the other thing. Tell Naj, dude, you're a big back, you're a bruiser. Just fucking get us 4 yards on two carries. That's 8. That's 3rd and 2. Like I said, I've been saying on the show, they're just so desperate to get.
But you know what they would do on 3rd and 2, Ryan? They would throw it long. They'd throw it fucking long.
Well,
and it would be incomplete.
Anyway,
rather
I'm
than
rambling.
Moving the goddamn chains, they'd throw it long.
Yes,
because that is what Mac
I'm rambling.
does.
But you know what?
Sucks.
They need to work on. In this bye week, and then especially next week, they need to work on their short yard tendencies / run game.
I think they need to run more screens, like
That's
design screens. I think they need to run more route combinations that scheme receivers open.
Mm-hmm. That would help.
He has an easy pass. I think that Kenny needs to be more aware of blitzes, and he needs to, his receivers. There were times when receivers weren't aware of the fact that they were the hot route.
That's also true.
So there was some of that too. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't all on Kenny 100%, but most of it was on Kenny. I'm sorry that the passing game was fucked on Sunday. And most of it was Kenny. So he needs to be more aware. They need to scheme guys open. I think they should try to run some design screens just to loosen things up so that they can create a little bit of room to run the goddamn ball, and then they should run it some more. I mean, none of this shit is like rocket science. This is like simple offensive concepts that we're just not using.
I mean, would you be opposed at getting Derek Watt involved more as a lead blocker, or at least putting him in there?
I mean, yeah, that worked week 1, remember?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying it has to become your base offense, but I agree with Ryan. I mean, the best way you help Pickett is you got to run the damn ball, and you got to run it somehow. Because the way we're doing it right now is not effective.
I mean, that's the other thing too. Now that Claypool's gone, who's gonna get one of the 8 jet sweeps a game, or three of the 8 jet
Steven
sweeps?
Sims, baby.
Steven straws right now.
DJ's still here. I mean,
call up Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young for the
George
jet
Pickens
sweeps.
He's a freak athlete. He could run the jet sweep.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a few more opportunities.
I really want to see some more bubble screens too. That would be great.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Oh fuck is right.
Bubble screens. Actually, there was one or two that looked decent. I think we got a first down on one or two of them, didn't we?
You need to run that shit when nobody's expecting it.
Well,
when you have guys on that side that can block. What we tend to run in Pittsburgh is a naked bubble screen where there's a corner right there to make the tackle.
Well,
just fucking stupid.
We don't have predictions this week, obviously.
Wait. I didn't get my chance.
I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
What's your prediction, Ian, for the second half of the season? Since we're on predictions now.
Oh, I don't know. I was going to answer what I'd do in the short term to fix things.
Oh, yes. What would you do?
So yeah.
I've been drinking.
I said earlier
Whatever.
that Jaylen Warren deserves more carries. Right now, Najee's averaging 13.5 carries per game. Warren's averaging 3.5 carries per game. Maybe just like double that. Give him like 6 or 7 carries per game.
Oh, really? Is it that low?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah, he should probably get like 7 to 10 carries a game.
Yeah, right. Warren only has 29 carries the whole year, and he's averaging 5.3 per attempt, whereas Najee is only at 3.3 per attempt.
Yeah, but as Ryan pointed out, I mean, Jaylen Warren is an incredible garbage time performer.
A lot of garbage time.
That's true. Warren has also turned himself into a very decent third down back that he can block and is okay.
God damn, he blocks so well.
He does. He loves it. He loves it.
Above the line.
He loves the chip dudes, man.
Obviously enjoys knocking the shit out of people.
Yeah. He's sneaky good at it.
You got to respect that.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, Warren needs more touches. Number 2, get Robert Spillane off the fucking field on third downs.
Please, God.
Number 3, I'm sorry. I was a big apologist of his last year's, but Dan Moore is not getting the job done. You traded a draft pick for Jesse Davis. Put him in the game, see what he can do. I know Jesse Davis's tape sucks, but Dan Moore is not getting it done. And
I know, but
Davis is
God, that's terrifying.
Well,
it is.
All right. Davis is a 6-year veteran. He's 6'6". I mean, like, put him. He's 31 years old. He's been around. Put him in. He can't. I have a hard time seeing him being worse than what Dan Moore is right now. Right? Like, Dan
Moore. What did they give up for Jesse Davis, by the way? Was it a 7?
7 or 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't he have like one of the highest rates of giving up pressures too?
Yeah,
it was terrible.
They did, and I don't know why the fuck they traded for him in the first place. But they
did.
Oh, it was a conditional 7th. So
okay.
Oh, based on playing time, probably. So we're probably going to give up nothing for that.
Yeah,
that's fair. I don't know, man. I
would give it a shot, right? What does it?
Dan Moore is my most disappointing player this year.
Yeah, Moore. I was a big Moore apologist last year, and on this show I said, you let him take his lumps, hope he gets better over time,
right?
But, like, at this point,
but you expected him to get better, right?
Yeah,
just like I expected him. I thought that all those ass kickings last year, plus a whole off season of getting, working on his game, getting stronger, would make him better. Fuck, he's as bad or worse.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. Yeah,
you got to try something. I mean,
Yeah, this goes back to what I was talking about before, and it would be ballsy as hell for Tomlin to do it. But yeah, fire someone.
Got to sit some people.
Bench some guys. Make people more afraid.
Well, make them uncomfortable for guys.
Make people more afraid of losing their jobs, of letting guys down, of letting the team down.
Yeah.
Then they are wrapped up in whatever the fuck their feelings are about the fact that they suck.
Yeah.
Forget about the fact that we suck.
I'm with you.
Set that shit aside.
I'm all
I
for
want you
some
to be afraid of the
shakeups.
fact that you're going to lose your goddamn job because you are.
Yep, I'm all for some shakeups. Ryan, has Casey Kasem entered the building?
He's in. All right.
All right, everybody. Here we go.
Elvis.
Introducing
American Top 40. It's time for this week's long distance dedication for the week of November 3rd, 1990. Ryan from Pittsburgh writes, Dear Casey, you still ain't called or wrote. I hope you have a chance. I ain't mad. I just think it's fucked up you don't answer fans. If you didn't want to talk to me outside the concert, you didn't have to, but you could have signed an autograph for Matthew. I'm just playing, Casey. As we all know, those are the lyrics to Stan by Eminem. But to be honest, I wouldn't sign an autograph for Matthew if it was Matthew Canada.
Wow.
Anyways, I really don't have much to say this week. For most Steelers fans, this is the first time we've been in a funk. This isn't the first time. Sorry, I can't read. That's right. I'm talking to you out there. The I've only been born in the Ben Roethlisberger era. Well,
What
welcome
the
to
fuck is wrong
hell.
with you people?
I truly think there is something to believe in, Casey. Well, Ryan, I agree. And you're in for a
Really?
treat because our next song
Really?
is just that. You know their lead singer, Bret Michaels, is a big Steelers fan, too.
From
I'm
Butler,
certain
PA.
that he will lead many terrible towel twirls in the future. Moving up 7 spots this week to number 16 is Poison with Something to Believe In.
You know, there ain't nothing to believe in right now.
I'm telling you.
I am sorry.
I tried for that one.
The Matt connection was perfect, man. That was good.
I wouldn't sign an autograph for that piece of garbage.
Bad either.
That's
Matthew
good. That was
Canada.
good.
Fuck that guy.
I have to admit, I didn't know you were going there.
That guy sucks.
I was taken
Great.
off. That was great.
Dear
That
Matt,
was fantastic.
you suck.
Yeah, we
Dear Matt, you fucking suck. Go
we
Matt,
will
are
be
you
back
frozen?
next week with a.
next week?
But yeah, hey, why the hell not? We got to prep for the Saints, man. New Orleans Saints are going to be coming in for one of their rare visits to Acrisure Stadium.
The crowd in Philly is chanting Dallas sucks.
It's in Philly tonight? I was thinking it was in Houston.
No, it's in Houston.
No, it's in the game's over, obviously,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there are Philly fans in the stadium chanting Dallas sucks. It's like, hey, I mean, I don't know. Maybe, if we were the Steelers fans in the visiting stadium and this was happening, we'd be chanting Ravens suck, right?
It could be. It could be. And,
I would be. I don't know about everybody else.
I know you would be.
Maybe
That's
I
for
could
damn
start a
sure.
Ravens suck cheer. That'd be fantastic.
Anyway, thank you to everybody for jumping on. We have a great group of regulars. Really glad to have you guys jumping on with us, and keep the faith out there. It's been a rough season. It's probably going to be a rough season, but
Keep the faith about 2023.
There's something to believe in.
We're getting something to believe it, yeah, and all that stuff. But for these three yahoos, this is Steel Dad signing off on the SCB Steelers Podcast, presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida.
And hey,
Go Steelers.
Ravens suck. And listen, Kenny Pickett will get better, but yeah, he's not very good right now.
I'm